Hey folks, we're back again. We're here at Liquor Barn. I'm with my good buddy, Casey Gray. Last time she showed us how to make a delicious cocktail. Today, we're gonna do something a little different that we haven't quite done on here at all, so I'm fairly excited about it. If you're paying attention, you can see whiskey, which we always have, and today we have chocolate. So Casey's gonna walk us through matching Woodford Double Oaked and Woodford Reserve. I've always felt like Woodford Double Oaked is the ultimate dessert bourbon. I know Chris Morris from Brown-Forman feels the same way. And so I'm actually fairly excited about this. I've been waiting, not that I'm not always excited about whiskey, but today it's a little bit special. I'm really looking forward to this. So Casey, please educate me and everyone else watching on matching Double Oak and 3 chocolates.
Yeah, gladly. So I'm really excited because this chocolate pairing has been a long time in the making, and this has officially taken the lead as my absolute favorite food pairing that we do with any of our Brown-Forman whiskeys, and especially with Woodford Reserve. So this one's really all about Woodford Reserve Double Oaked, because like Brad said, it is the world's first dessert bourbon, so we had to give it an appropriate matching dessert pairing. So we have paired Double Oaked with 3 specific unique chocolates that have actually been selected by our assistant master distiller, Elizabeth McCall, specifically for this tasting. So the 3 chocolates we're using, Brad, are white chocolate, a milk chocolate with almond, any milk chocolate with nuts will do just fine, and then a sea salt dark chocolate. Any dark chocolate, plain or with sea salt, will do fine as well. These have been selected for their individual flavor properties because they're each meant to pull out different flavors in the Woodford Reserve Bourbon or the Woodford Reserve Double Oaked, whichever one you choose. I opt for the Double Oaked. And each time you take a bite of the chocolate, take a sip of the Double Oaked, you'll kind of see that flavor change. You'll notice the feeling of your palate change. So we're gonna talk through all those tasting notes and those different flavor properties as we jump in. So you wanna taste some bourbon and chocolate?
Of course.
All right.
It's the only reason I showed up today.
So if you'll take your mask off with me, we are gonna dive in here. And what we're gonna do first is just start with a sip of the Double Oak to coat our palate, get our palate ready. And so I always recommend you take that first sip like a hot coffee sip. Your palate's gonna acclimate to the alcohol. By your second, third sip, you should be able to kind of detect those flavor notes. And then as we move through the samples, those flavors will dramatically change. So to get started, we are gonna start all the way on the left, Brad, with the white chocolate. And so go ahead and take a bite while I chat. But so the reason we start with white chocolate is because it is a really creamy, fatty chocolate. It's actually not chocolate at all, right? So it's gonna really coat your palate with that fatty content, and it's gonna totally change the mouthfeel of the Double Oak bourbon. So once you chew up that little sample, feel free to rinse it down with some of your Double Oaked and see how the flavor changes for you.
It's delicious.
It is delicious. So
it's delicious.
Like we already said, Double Oaked is known for having all of those great dessert flavors, right? So it's already got really rich caramels, vanillas, chocolates, coffee, all sorts of really deep, rich notes. This white chocolate though, and maybe I should let you kind of test your palate first, see what you're tasting, but it's gonna change up those properties just a little bit and really enhance them.
Put the chocolate down.
Put the chocolate down.
First off, to me, it's delicious. So I've always felt like Double Oak was very dessert-like, very smooth and easy. To me, more creamy and more like a pudding.
Creamy, smooth.
Yes, so and
Makes
it's like
the finish nice, creamy and smooth.
Oh,
too.
it's still, I
Delicious.
still have a very creamy finish in my mouth right now. So it's delicious.
So
this is my favorite one so far.
So far, can't beat
#1.
it. So like I said, Elizabeth McCall, our assistant master distiller, developed this guide. And so as I was kind of reading through her tasting notes and comparing what I tasted myself, she mentioned some of those vanilla puddings, banana puddings. She mentioned glazed peaches, and apricot, and lots of really rich, fruity flavors. So yeah, I definitely get all of those. Power of suggestion is strong, of course, right, Brad?
Yeah.
But definitely get all of those, and it's super rich and creamy. So moving on, if you'll just take a very tiny sip of your bourbon. I know we don't have a ton in these glasses. We're gonna have to make it last.
I poured myself a little extra.
Just a little bit kind of to reset our palate. And then we're gonna dive into the milk chocolate with almond. So like I said before, any milk chocolate or milk chocolate with nut will do for this. So if you can't find something with almonds in it specifically, don't worry. We've got lots of alternatives available that will work just fine with this tasting. So go ahead and take a bite. I'm gonna join you. Rinse with the Woodford. Totally different. Totally different. So the big reason this one is so drastically different is because the nut in this milk chocolate has a lot of tannic acid. So it's gonna, again, change the mouthfeel, and it's gonna kind of highlight some of those really spicy, woody, oaky notes that come from that second toasted barrel of double oak bourbon. A lot spicier than the last one, right? Not quite as creamy, still very smooth, but
agree,
some
100%.
really nice spice character too.
It's not as creamy to me, and I think to your point, the spice from the bourbon is coming through a little more. It's a little more traditional chocolate, like we're used to. I think like eating as kids, eating chocolate, or as adults, it's okay. But I feel like and maybe it's the almonds. The nuts are coming through, and I feel like the double oak pulled that nut out at the end, sort of a nutty finish, not full like peanuts, but it's
like a
the finish
of like a softer nut. And important to note, the ones that we're tasting right now have roasted almonds in them, which probably lends to that flavor too.
It's delicious, and the finish. So the finish on this was shorter. It's the same bourbon, but the chocolate changed. So the kind of contrast between the white chocolate and this regular milk chocolate with all roasted almonds in it is awesome.
Right.
I love it.
So that's really the whole reason for this tasting, right? To see how dramatically little flavors, little things, little tweaks that we make to our palate changes the overall flavor profile, and just really highlights the complexity of this product and how many flavors are really in there, even though you might not recognize them without priming your palate first.
Sure.
So if you haven't already, grab another small sip, hot coffee sip.
Yes, please.
And we are gonna move on to the sea salt dark chocolate. So just break a little bite off there. You know the drill by now. Again, so different. So I hate to choose favorites, but this one might be my favorite.
I got one more.
Take another bite.
One.
So,
I get
and
to eat
I'll
more
go ahead
chocolate and drink more whiskey.
Talk us through why this one makes such a huge difference, right? So this is the sea salt dark chocolate. It is going to completely change, once again, the mouthfeel of the bourbon and highlight a whole wide variety of flavors. So for me, I don't know if you're tasting this right now, Brad, but I get like a peanut butter finish. So really strong nut notes, some really nice spice, almost like a coffee, or one of Elizabeth's notes was leather, which I think is really interesting. And if you have a very salty chocolate, that will especially lend to that kind of taste and those more earthy notes. Really delicious though, right? Like the finish is incredible.
It is delicious. I would echo your peanut butter comment, and I think to me, it's the finish, the creamy finish, lives between the first two. So it was, and maybe that's the peanut butter thing you were talking about. Is that kind of like a, not like you took a spoonful of peanut butter, but maybe like a bite of a Reese cup.
Or a melted peanut butter kind of that
yes.
really light.
It's so very creamy, almost like the first one was like creamy pudding. This is more like creamy peanut butter.
Yeah.
The leather was there. I got a very subtle hint of tobacco, not huge, but it was after I chewed it, swallowed, took a drink of the whiskey is when that fully, as it should, presented itself. This was delicious.
So good.
I think I agree with you, and I think it might be situational.
Yes.
Like, when would I want this? This is after dinner, around the campfire. We should probably try double oak with s'mores or something. Would be kind of cool, I imagine, one time. We'll have to come back in the summer.
Yeah, we'll do that. That'll be the next
And we'll do some sort of shortcut film on making s'mores, and then we'll enjoy them with double oak. Because I suspect the graham cracker, marshmallows, and chocolate is probably
I'm sure. All those
phenomenal.
Dessert notes we've been talking about this whole time.
Yeah, but I think that's my favorite without working it all the way through.
Save the best for last.
I don't have enough whiskey to do it again.
We can change that. But so that's, again, is my favorite. Save the best for last. And there actually is a reason why we do them in this order. So we're going from lightest to darkest for a reason. So I highly encourage you, if you're doing this tasting at home, trying it for yourself, keep those chocolates in order, follow the guide exactly. And speaking of guide, I'm gonna show you guys this lovely little tasting card that will be available here for you guys to check out, and also will be available with a full pairing guide at woodfordreserve.com. But this is the guided tasting guide. It'll be available, Brad, if you want to kind of point to these little...
So in our stores in February, you're going to see these pretty cool signs they made for us on our displays. Within these little holders will be this, and it's got the, and they really thought it out. It's like how to taste the chocolate and the whiskey on the front. The back has some tasting notes that they put together for us. And then just like if you've been out to eat it all during pandemic, there's a nice little QR code here at the bottom. QR codes are back during pandemic. Just like you'd find the menu at a restaurant or a bar menu, it's right here, and it takes you straight to all this information, which I think is really cool and easy that you can use at any time. And I would mention that as with some of the other things we've done, this is all available at Liquor Barn. You can always get Woodford and Woodford Reserve double oaked here at Liquor Barn, but all three of these chocolates came out of our store. So if you're in a Liquor Barn, you can get white chocolate, milk chocolate with nuts, dark chocolate or dark chocolate with sea salt easily. And Casey brought this up earlier. I thought it was a really cool idea, is you get the little pint of double oak, the little pint of Woodford, so you don't have to fully invest. Let's say Valentine's Day, right? Nice way to start Valentine's Day, I think, is if you had some double oak, 2 little glasses and some chocolates with your special person. Hey, or by yourself, however you want to do it.
Doesn't have to be a special
Doesn't
occasion.
have to be special. It's chocolate and whiskey. That's special enough. So you can pick these up easy, 1, 2, 3, for your Valentine's Day. Casey, thank you as always. I really appreciate you letting me eat chocolate. I haven't eaten chocolate in about a year and a half. So today I got to eat chocolate for work.
Not a bad day.
Which is perfect. See you next time.
All right. Thank you, guys.